Today, I'm taking you on a journey. Actually, two journeys in one. We're starting in Brooklyn, where nearly 400,000 people commute to Manhattan every single day, and then we're doing it in reverse, leaving the city and heading all the way out to Bergen County and Rockland County, a journey that about 600,000 people make between New Jersey and New York City every single day. And at the end of this, I'm going to see my father. So come with me. We're gonna have some fun walking down memory lane.
Hello, Chupirins. Today I'm going to take you on a journey of a New York City commuter. Here I have my backpack, so I completely look like a commuter, but it's a path that I took for a long time. About 1.5 million people commute every single day into New York City, and I was one of those people. So today I have the opportunity to share with you how my commute looked like. In fact, I am currently waiting for the train here in Brooklyn, which will take about 15 minutes to arrive because we are on the weekend, and on the weekends trains take longer, which is great because with this I'm gonna show you how it looks like to actually get to one of the boroughs that are not centered like Brooklyn, because Manhattan is the center of New York City.
Now, Manhattan is often called the center of New York City, but technically, if you look at the map, both Manhattan and Brooklyn sit pretty centrally. What made Manhattan the economic heart of the city is its history. It was actually the very first part of New York to be settled by Europeans. The Dutch established a colony there in 1624 called the New Amsterdam. And that early settlement is literally where Wall Street comes from. So Manhattan didn't become the center because of geography. It became the center because of history.
Because Manhattan is considered center of New York City, that's where most of the businesses are. However, they're not all there. There's a lot of businesses that are in Brooklyn, Queens, and many people commute to this part of New York City, not just Manhattan. So today we're gonna have a real example of how the commute looks like from a borough that is not Manhattan and going up upstate New York. So we're taking the train today from Avenue N in Brooklyn, and we're gonna end up in Rockland County, New York, which is upstate outside of the city. If you think about it, geographically it is very close. Unfortunately, transportation ones, not so much. We have a train coming up right now. So right now, because we're on the weekend, we actually have to take an extra train since the Q train will not run its usual route. Usually this is not the case. Usually you don't have to switch so many trains, but on the weekends, because of construction, it's very common for one train not to run, and then you have to find an alternative route to get to your destination. And that's what's happening for us, which means that it will take us a lot longer to get to the Port Authority. And another thing, it means that the trains might actually be overcrowded. Like right now, this train right here. So many people want to get on. This really shows, this is how the trains are during rush hour, but this is a weekend. And usually on the weekends, they are not like this. We also took the elevator, and I rarely take elevators to the trains because they're usually really dirty and they stink. But this one smelled normal. There was no weird smells. And this overpass is a really nice one compared to ones that you get to experience in New York City. Ay, mi amor, el tren. Ah, yo pensé que era. No. Hello there. Hi there. Hi. We just arrived at Port Authority. Technically, we're in the Times Square station, train station specifically, subway. And This train station connects you to the Port Authority. New York City has different types of transportation. Buses, trains, two different types of train, the subway and the rail lines, which are different. Long Island Road, Metro North, New Jersey Transit, and they also have buses. Currently, we are at Port Authority. From the train, from the subway, right over there, we are now going up to the floor where I can get tickets for the coach buses. Oh, and they have installed some games here in the station. I don't recall this being part of it before, but the station is constantly trying to bring some type of entertainment so that people who are waiting for the bus can actually entertain themselves. And I think this is an actual art installation, not a game. You can't really change it or do anything about it. You can just watch it. You can just watch it, and the ball moves around. They have those balls that have numbers on them. To me, that looks like a lottery game, but I don't see information about it. Oh, actually, wait. Port Authority is the busiest station in the world. That is incredible. I never knew that Port Authority was that busy. Currently, the station has about 223 gates just for the buses to leave and arrive, and 4 floors, with plans to expand the station and completely change its structure. About 225,000 people come to this station daily. And right now I'm taking you through a passage that I would personally say doesn't get used as much, but I found it to be super useful, except not during rush hour, to get to the place to buy the tickets. Or maybe not. This hallway here takes you to the elevator where you can get to the gates faster when you just come from the outside. But right now we're gonna go and buy the tickets. There's different ways to buy the tickets. You can get it at the machine, which is usually New Jersey Transit. But if you need a specific bus company like Coach, Greyhound, or some other ones, you most likely are not able to buy it there. You have to go to the window and buy those tickets. And nowadays you can also buy them online. So these are the New Jersey Transit tickets. You come in here and they work just like any other machine that pretty much exists anywhere in the world at this time. And we are gonna go down to purchase the ticket. There's also bathrooms pretty much on any floor. And for a station that is this busy, the bathrooms aren't bad. I mean, they're not super clean either, but you definitely can pass. When in a rush to use the bathroom, it's a good place. This escalator here is one of the busiest escalators in the station because literally brings people right from outside into the gates. This is like the center where you can access all the gates from. Sometimes you will have to change floors or maybe like go further because it is 2 buildings. This is one of the entrances towards the street. So this ends up being super busy during rush hour because you take this elevator up. Wow, so it's been a while since I've been here and it looks like Coach doesn't sell tickets anymore here, so we probably can get it on the bus or we have to purchase it online. And this is where all the windows used to work, all of them used to work. And you would be able to buy your tickets here because online you couldn't get them in the past. But now they are all online. As you can tell, Coach doesn't sell any more tickets. They don't have anybody at the window. There is a code that you can use and purchase your tickets through the online system. And it looks like it is the case for a lot of the companies that are on this main floor, except for New Jersey Transit, which has a different system, and there's a lot more people that are using it. There's gates this way, and there's gates this way, and we're gonna go completely the opposite direction that way. The station has 2 buildings, and this is the reason why it's sometimes you get lost. I used to get lost in here all the time because some buses are in one area, the other buses are another area. Sometimes they're related to the bus company, and no podemos cogerlo. And these issues happen, and this is another issue that would happen. Escalator will be closed, and then you have to find another route because there is no stair right next to it. So now we have to find the stairs. Hi, the escalator is closed. So what stairs do I take?
Okay, no, there's no stairs. So to the other end.
There's another escalator? Yeah. All right, thank you so much. There's no stairs. So we have to walk all the way across and get the other escalator. My honest opinion, for a station that is this busy, it runs pretty good, but there's definitely things to continue improving, especially if New York City wants to get to the level of a lot of other cities that are doing super well with both their cleanliness, their order, the organization, and being on time. And this is another art installation here. Okay. Yeah. We found the other escalator, but we don't have a lot of time, and we don't have tickets. Since I'm using my phone to film, I couldn't scan the code, and when my husband was scanning it from his app, for his Android phone, it told him Apple only. So the only option for you to buy coach tickets specifically is either to have an Apple phone so you can get the app, or you can do it on their website, coachusa.com, I believe it is. And I used to run these stairs all the time. And because on the weekends there really aren't that many buses, it's usually very, very empty, like the way you see it right now. How do you feel, baby? You get to know a new place here in New York City. Have you been here before? No? Okay. These are the gates for a coach. And we need specifically 408. However, the gate might change as I get there, because what drivers do, they can pick up certain stops along the way, even if they're going further away. So they might take us. Okay, I think the bus is here. Okay, so you can either buy the tickets by cash, or you can buy it online. We just paid cash, and we're gonna go into the bus. Here, you can leave your bags if you have anything, like a suitcase, a weekend, so you can put it in here, and then you walk into the bus. Oh, and today there's plenty of people. Usually it's pretty empty. There is a ramp only for buses. In this area, cars cannot come in at all. And this is the view that you get to see when you leave Port Authority, which is actually quite nice. But the bus is very dirty. And then we go straight into the tunnel. The buses take this tunnel for the most part, but I guess it depends on your destination. They might take a different route. We're in New Jersey right now. We just went through the tunnel and ended up in New Jersey. And this is the Holland Tunnel. And from here, there's a magical view of New York City, but it goes by so fast. Look at this.
My husband is already asleep. And me, I'm wide awake, taking it all in. It's actually been a couple of years since I've made this trip, and being back on this bus brings back so many memories. There was a time in my life where I didn't have my mother and my father close to me. And something most people don't know about me is that I spent years healing and doing personal development work just to create the life I have today. In my 20s, I spent so much time on buses just like this one, studying in the city, working full time. And on the weekends, while my peers were out having fun, I was here, on the bus, going to visit my dad and his late wife. I didn't go out much. I chose family. And looking back now, a part of me is deeply grateful for that, for the commitment, for the dedication it took to build those connections. But another part of me has learned, and this took time, that it's okay to put myself first too. My wants, my needs, they matter. So from now on, I still show up for my family, but not at the cost of myself.
The view on the road is, well, you don't really get to see much, just the typical US outside of the city. People, for the most part, are quiet. I think today there is a group that has joined this ride, so they're a little bit louder, but other than that, usually it's very quiet, nobody talks, everybody's either in their phone or sleeping, reading. For a period of time, this was my everyday ride, and then it turned into a weekend ride to go visit my father and his wife. And today, well, after 4 years about, I have not taken this bus since COVID. This is the first time I'm taking it. And one thing that I can tell you is there's a lot more space when you sit down. I don't know if these are new buses, but it feels to me like there's a lot more space on the seat in the seats and more crowded as well. I don't recall having so many people on the weekends ride these buses, especially going out of town. 8,000 buses leave the terminal every single day, except on the weekends. I think it's probably a little bit less. The way the drivers announces the stop is by calling it out, or if people know that not many people get off on that stop, they will call it out so the driver could hear it, and this is how you get off. Usually a lot more people get off here, so it's not a problem. Amor, ¿puedes coger mi chaqueta también? Thank you. You too. This is how you wait. Literally, there's a little pad here. This pad here is only for buses, though sometimes people wait there. However, you can get a ticket for waiting in this lane here. You're not allowed to wait. This is a highway, so technically, if you want to wait, you gotta go to the other side. There's this overpass you can use to get to the other side. So I'm gonna show you now. You gotta cross over to the other side. The cars cannot stop on this side. Super loud here because it's a highway, but if it wasn't a highway, it would actually be a really nice view. And today is a beautiful day, so it makes it special. This is where it's coming from, and we're gonna cross over to the other side. We are currently in New Jersey. One thing that is very beautiful about this station that is accessible. If you're handicapped, you can easily access this fully. It's fully accessible. This parking lot is currently empty because we are on the weekend, but during the week, this parking lot gets so full that if you come like 8 or 9 a.m., there is a high chance you won't find a parking spot, even though they do sell it to you. And there's one really big change that I'm seeing here. Here there used to be an office, literally right here, where you could actually buy parking passes and buy bus tickets. But As you can see, there has been so many changes since COVID, and there's no office here. An interesting fact about this particular station here in Ridgewood at Route 17 is that they actually have buses on the weekends, and they have them regularly, like every couple hours. And if you go to any other station, that is not the case. They may have one in the morning or not have any at all, except during week, during rush hour. The rest of the time, there's barely any buses. And this is the reason why I chose to come usually to this particular stop. However, on the weekends, sometimes I would wait for the bus, let's say at 2 o'clock, and there will be no bus at 2 o'clock. It would show up at 3, or it can show up at 4, or it might not show up at all. Luckily, the fact that there are buses coming, one of them will eventually show up and take you to your destination, which is Port Authority. And that's the challenge that people don't really talk about of commuting to New York City. Most places that are not in New York City or part of New York City, it is really hard to get to New York unless you are going during those typical hours of the day. And it is one of the reasons why I chose not to live outside of the city, because I'm wasting so much time and energy trying to figure out when there's a bus, when I can get home, when can I get to whatever event I need to go to or work. You guys can see this parking spot is really nice, and they keep it really clean because this is actually in an affluent neighborhood, and they've also extended the parking. That area over there did not exist, part of it. So this is also new in this parking space. I saw a statistic online that says a New York City commuter, it takes about an hour and a half round trip. But I have to disagree. From my experience and most people that I know, the commute one way is about hour and a half, not round trip. So that's a statistic that I think is incorrect, and I'm actually curious to know who did they survey, because so many people come further than just like across the river. Though even across the river, the transportation is really not good, connecting New York City and New Jersey, like Fort Lee or Hoboken, other parts of New Jersey right across the river. So I used to be that person who used to commute to work, and this was my path. From here, I would park my car, or I would have my family member pick me up, and there is another about 20 minutes ride to get home. I used to literally wait on those benches right there. And the other challenge that I had is I could arrive and there could be 20 people ahead of me or 10 people ahead of me, and if the bus comes, which usually would come from further upstate, a lot of times would be no seats left. So what does that mean? You gotta wait for the next bus. Luckily, in the mornings, there's usually buses every 10-15 minutes, so it's not so bad. But when this happens in the afternoon or on the weekends, forget it. You could be here waiting 4 hours for our next bus. Nonetheless, it feels really good to be here and to walk down memory lane and experience this ride one more time, especially now that it's past COVID and things have taken a new turn and there is a new system in place. I'm actually curious if there's even payment for this parking lot, because I see no signs that talk about how to pay for parking, which makes me think that they might actually have made this parking completely free, because now many people that used to commute and work in the office can actually work from home, at least some days of the week. What makes this stop unique is also the fact that there are many different type of companies that would stop in this particular location.
Да, молоко можно, нет проблем.
Нет, я думаю, может... Да.
Окей.
А в чем это целишь?
We have here garden or things that are being prepared to be put in a garden, except for this. This is already part of the garden, and we're gonna have lunch now. We arrived on the farm. Well, I'm joking. It's not really a farm.